Player ratings then, Tottenham Hotspur 1, Everton 0 at White Hart Lane. It's not White Hart Lane, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, whatever it is. An embarrassing midfield performance by Everton, just a shocking performance really. We didn't look interested for any amount of the game. We didn't look like getting back into the game once we conceded. We were just flat, really flat, and really disappointing. So we'll get straight into it then. Jordan Pickford have gone for a 6. Obviously wasn't a fault for the goal, looked very shaky at times throughout the game. He really looked like his confidence had taken a massive hit again. He was making a couple of rash decisions. One in the first half where I think a lot of people thought it was a rash decision. It turned out that I think he was just trying to keep the ball in after Luca Dean had headed it out for a corner, which at first glance it looked like he was diving for a save that was nowhere near the goal. And then a couple in the second half where again, you know, he's diving for things he doesn't need to dive for. A ball goes through his hands from a cross, which very nearly ends up in an opportunity for Tottenham Hotspur. Didn't really do an awful lot wrong in terms of anything that led to anything much. Like I said, again, just a couple of little errors that make you go, oof, bloody hell, stop them, you know, get your head in the game. And I do think he lost a little bit of confidence today. So I've gone for a 6 for Jordan Pickford. Luca Dean, I've gone for a 5. Didn't think he had a great game whatsoever. Thought he committed a lot of fouls in silly areas as well that he just didn't need to. Obviously got a booking. Again, didn't really do an awful lot wrong defensively. Done okay, but Tottenham really didn't have much going forward, so I can't sit here and say, oh, the defence were okay because they didn't do an awful lot wrong defensively, because Tottenham didn't have anything going forward, so there wasn't much to do. Whereas I thought Luca Dean gave away a couple of stupid free kicks, and again, at times in the game when we just needed to hold the ball, we just needed to control it, we needed to be a little bit more composed, he's kicking people up and giving away silly fouls, and you sort of think, what's the point in that? Mason Holgate then have gone for a 5. Again, wasn't on the pitch for an awful lot of the game. Made a challenge. I can't remember who he brought down. It might have been Lo Celso on the edge of the box, and then ultimately ended up getting injured through that challenge and went off for Yerry Mina. So I've given him a 5 standard. Really didn't do an awful lot wrong when he was on the pitch. Didn't have his greatest game. Like I said, he allowed the player to get past him, which is ultimately why he had to make the challenge. And then ultimately he went off injured as well. Michael Keane, I've gone for a 6 again. Slightly better, stayed on the entirety of the game. Obviously, he was a fault for the goal, but again, it was very unlucky. He was coming back across goal to try and put his body in the way, and ultimately ended up getting his body in the way, and it come off him and went in. I don't think we can blame Michael Keane too much for it. I think that is unlucky. I don't think the performance or the result was unlucky. I think that situation in the goal was unlucky, but and again, I don't think it was much to Michael Keane's fault. So I've given Michael Keane a 6. Seamus Coleman, I've gone for a 5 again, similar to Luca Dean on the left hand side. Didn't really do an awful lot on the right hand side, wasn't great going forward, didn't have to do an awful lot defensively, but again, in these type of games where there's not a lot to do defensively, I fully expect Seamus Coleman, I fully expect Luca Dean to be busting a bollock, getting forward, creating opportunities, throwing the ball in the box, getting in good positions. There was a couple of positions where Seamus Coleman was in fantastic positions to cross it, and he just relied far too much on his left foot. I don't know why he doesn't go with his right foot anymore. He used to be so dominant with that right foot, whether it be crossing, whether it be hitting the ball from the edge of the box and absolutely blasting it in the top corner. He used to be brilliant with that right foot, whereas now whenever he seems to get the ball on it, he just looks to switch it to the left side, and that takes 10 or 15 seconds out the game, and ultimately Spurs got back and got the shape again, and it just nullified any attack that we had. Across the entire midfield, I've gone for 3s. Iwobi 3, Davis 3, Gomez 3, Sigurdsson 3. I thought they were embarrassing today, absolutely embarrassing. Not only were they not involved in the game, shy, timid, again, shitting out of challenges, not getting themselves involved, not putting a body in the way. Tottenham are a very dirty side, and they showed that today. A very dirty side. They were throwing themselves into challenges, they were ragging at players, they were kicking heels, and our midfield didn't want any part of that. It was like they thought, you know what, I don't want to get involved with that, so I'm just going to run away from every situation that I can run away from. And I thought the entirety of the midfield was atrocious for the entirety of the game, and that's why they all get 3s. And it's very lucky that they all get 3s. To be honest, Andre Gomez could have got a 1 today, and probably so could have Gylfi Sigurdsson, Alex Iwobi. They could all be sat on 1s. I don't want to be that harsh, but they were dreadful today. They were really dreadful. I've gone for 5, both of the attackers as well, Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison. Again, weren't really in the game an awful lot. Dom Dom tries to get himself in the game, I think, a little bit too much at times, and by doing that, he takes himself out of position. There was a couple of chances today, and we've seen it over the last couple of weeks as well, where Dom is ragging himself out to the wing or ragging himself into the centre midfield in order to pick the ball up to try and make something happen, and you can't criticise it too much because he's doing it to try and create opportunities, he's doing it to try and benefit the team, but in doing that, it takes that physical presence that we need in Dominic Calvert-Lewin out of the area, and then he ends up picking the ball up on the wing, looking up, and there's nobody in the box because Gylfi Sigurdsson isn't busting a bollock to get in the box. Gylfi Sigurdsson wouldn't bust a bollock if somebody had a gun to his teammate's head because he's not that type of player. He's not arsed. He doesn't run into the box. He doesn't give a shit. And in Dominic Calvert-Lewin dragging himself out to the wing and being there, it means that there's nobody in the box ultimately to receive the ball that's coming in. And I think, again, like I said, I don't want to criticise Dom too much because he does it to try and create opportunities for the team, but ultimately in doing that, he takes the opportunities away, doesn't he? Richarlison, again, I've gone for a 5. Had the only opportunity of the game for Everton, which was a good shot at the edge of the box, which, again, just dragged wide a little bit. Probably should have done a little bit better with it. Other than that, not much involvement in the game whatsoever. Done a little bit of running around, just kicked up the park all game, to be fair. He had 3 or 4 Tottenham players every time he got the ball, just volleying him left, right and centre. So a little bit of a frustrating game for Richie, but again, wasn't too involved. On to the subs then. Sidibe 5. Did he do anything? Don't know. Gordon 6, though. Gordon was our best player, to be honest, when he come on, man of the match for me in an Everton shirt, and that says something. He was man of the match within 10-15 minutes of him coming on. Our best midfielder is a 19-year-old lad who's played 4 games in the Premier League, who only made his debut a couple of months ago against in the Merseyside. Sorry, a couple of months ago in the Premier League and in the Merseyside derby. I just, again, he done okay. He come on, he attacked, he used his body, he was looked our most creative player. Me in a 6, didn't really do an awful lot wrong, didn't really have an awful lot to do. He seemed to bring us out a little bit more as well. Every time he got the ball, he was the only player that looked like he actually wanted to get something out of the game. Everybody else, we were passing the ball around in that last 5 or 10 minutes as if we were winning 3-0, as if it was just like nonchalant. Oh yeah, we'll take this. It's almost as if they forgot, fucking hell, we've conceded here, we need a goal. Mina seemed to be the only player other than Anthony Gordon, like I said, that was dragging the ball out, that was bringing players out, that was getting the team forward. So I've given him a 6. Bernard a 5. Didn't do an awful lot. I'm not impressed with Bernard, and again, I know he's only had 5 or 10 minutes and you can't really judge him off that, but even in the start against Norwich, was it a couple of weeks ago, I'm really not impressed by Bernard whatsoever, and he'd be on my list of players to sell this summer, certainly if he keeps on that type of form. And Moise Keane a 5, again, didn't really have to do an awful lot, got a good shot away towards the back end of the game. Ultimately it went into Hugo Lloris's palms, but he did well to get himself in that position to shoot, but didn't really have an awful lot to do other than that. And Carlo, I've gone for a 7 again. I think tactically, listen, the decision to play that midfield from the start was always going to be questioned, and I feel a little bit sorry for Carlo Ancelotti because he hasn't got any options whatsoever, and the only options that he has in midfield are absolutely woeful. But ultimately, again, he could have started with Anthony Gordon. There's probably reason as to why he didn't do that. He could have started with a little bit more energy. I personally would have thrown Benny Beningame there. He can't do any worse than what that midfield done today. He would have at least ran around and put his body in the way and thrown a tackle in and left his foot in and made sure that the Tottenham players knew he was there. If he lacked quality, he'd at least give effort, which at the moment today, I think, to sum up the game, our midfield not only lacked effort, but they lacked quality as well. And I'd rather have a player that lacks quality but gives effort than a player that just lacks them both and isn't arsed. So I've gone for the 7 for Carlo. Again, don't put too much of the blame on him today. But maybe he could have gone with a different 11 or chosen different substitutions at times. I don't know. Anyway, they're my player ratings. Let me know your thoughts on them in the comment section down below. Leave me yours in the comments as well. Leave a like if you've enjoyed. Shocking game, shocking performance. And yeah, we just have to bounce on. We'll be back live tomorrow, 5:15 PM for the live game review. Join us for that if you want to talk more about that shambles. But yeah, thanks for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you soon.